Welcome to my channel to everyone who's new here and of course to those of you who are back again. Great to have you here. In this video we are going to talk about SUI, Avalanche, HBAR and Dogecoin. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. So this video is going to be a bit shorter. I talked 30 minutes in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana update. Here I will just be a bit more brief. So it was for me like a surprise that we actually went into that purple box. In my opinion, this here could have been already our low. And it surprised me that we went into that purple box. We have said it since, I think, a week or something, that we should see that area. And from here, like we already saw something, but from here, we should see a nice price movement to the upside. Yeah, it's not going to happen in one day. But what have we seen in one day? Already a very good impulsive movement to the upside. I personally think that the movement is still possible into $3.88. And yes, why is SUI, Avalanche, HBAR, Dogecoin, why they all have more upside potential and XRP, Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin not? It's just because there are altcoins. So if we now look over the Bitcoin dominance, then you can see it's still dropping more. That means that the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. So let's watch for a second SUI on the 50 minutes time frame, just to show you that. So we are getting new tops for SUI. If we get into Bitcoin, Bitcoin is not doing new tops. So it looks like that Bitcoin is going to consolidate while the Bitcoin dominance is going down. And that means the altcoins can go up. Pretty bullish. Did I still take profits earlier for SUI? Yes, I took them earlier. I was in a SUI long trade and I took it here in this area where I saw, okay, now we have to go into the 1 hour chart. In this market situation, I've seen, okay, we have support. We are close to our support box. So even if we sell off, then it's not going to hurt that much. Looked into the RSI, good bullish divergence. Looked into the chart. We have formed more bullish chart patterns. So it was for me personal, unexpected, because we were here in this market stage and I was like, okay, I'm going to enter long positions for mostly every coin. Yeah, not for SUI, but for almost every coin. Then we got a bigger pullback where we have formed more bullish chart patterns for all the coins. So I was, in my opinion, a bit too early bullish. The signs were there. We got a bigger retracement, like for SUI. In my opinion, this was here a possible double bottom pattern. But what we have actually built up, and that's why this is speculation, if we just jump into a trade because we are at support, we have formed here a small bear flag, which we broke to the downside, got into the purple box. Afterwards, nice push. Yeah, we have also set over $3.60. It's going to be long. Issue here was that the trade is not possible. It was not possible. We didn't broke here to the upside. Then it would be very positive. Or either we got here our push, but we didn't get our retest. Since we have a huge fair value gap lower than us, and since I still expect a huge long squeeze, yeah, now we are liquidating all the short positions and people who have their stop loss, which we have also said here, there people have stop losses. We are liquidating them, but we are far too over leveraged and overheated in the whole crypto market. Those are just huge long positions with very high leverage, they should get liquidated soon or take profits. If I have a 100x leverage trade and I'm trading, for example, $1 million in Ethereum or 100,000, 200,000 in SUI, I'm going to take profits because like every single cent where the price is going to move is probably 1,000 more or less for me. And that's how you have to think. We have too many over-leveraged positions in the market. They are going to take profits or they will get liquidated if now 100x leverage trades are going to get opened and the market is doing this. They are going to get liquidated, they push the price even more, then the people who went into long positions right here will also get liquidated, and this is going to be the long squeeze. So this is how it's going to work in my opinion. I still don't want to say that we are going to see it now. I still think we have our bright blue falling wedge. So I have two scenarios in mind, which are very realistic. The first one is we are going to push more without a pullback into $3.88. The second option is we are going to sell off into the fair value gap. I can't tell you where because it is so huge. We have support right here. And otherwise, I don't see any kind of other support which is within that fair value gap. So let's just imagine we are going to sell off right here. Afterwards, $3.88. Or right now, $3.88. If we break the $3.88 to the upside, then it's going to be good. And I think the next target is going to be $4.25 in my opinion. So if we now look over Avalanche, then $23.35, this was our long trigger. Why that? Because we were thinking, let me take out the price mark here. We were thinking inverted head and shoulders formatation can get developed. We had our green trend line, broke to the upside, got its retest. This looked like a left shoulder to me, left shoulder, head, and this looked to me like a right shoulder. We didn't break it to the upside. Instead, I was on my long position. We went for lower prices. Also here, huge bullish divergence, double bottom pattern. So basically, I still think Avalanche can get up a bit more, $25.67. There is going to be a resistance, which I think we are not going to break to the upside immediately. Like for example, what do I mean with immediately? I mean something like this. Yeah, we have seen here, for example, when we broke to the downside, like this, it didn't happen in one go. So we got into that support, we got our bounce. We tried it a second time, we got another bounce. Here we tried it a third time, but the bounce was less. And then finally the breakout. Can happen here the same. We get rejected once, we try it maybe a second time, or we form something like a bull flag, which we then break to the upside, and then we are going to have the strength breaking the $25.67 to the upside. For now, I think it's unrealistic. Not with that fair value gap which we have down here. And if we break to the upside, and if we get into $26.86 and $26.50, then I would even imagine that this was the overall top. We are going to go for the fair value gap and then sell off lower. Then this was just a huge bull trap. I don't think it at the moment, but for that I have to see. Okay, I don't know what my computer did, but I want to see some kind of a bullish chart pattern, like a bullish consolidation. Otherwise it's just going to be like playing with fire. One day or another we are going to sell off a lot then, and we don't want that. We want sustainable breakouts, and not breakouts based on news or based on a Jerome Powell who spoke not even that good about the economic. He just said that he thinks about changing the monetary system, means rate cuts are a bit more, the possibility of getting rate cuts is a bit higher. So with that information, we can't do much. Inflation rate goes up. The labor market is, like it sustained the same levels as it seems, so it's stable. We have to see. We have to see because Jerome also said it's currently uncertain how the tariffs are going to influence the inflation rate. He already said we have seen an impact, like a negative impact from the tariffs regarding to the inflation rate, but how it's going to compound in the future, he don't know it as well. And he wants to check it, and it might be even possible that he says in 25 days there is the meeting about the rate cuts. So basically, maybe he says, no, we are not going to cut rates. It's always possible. And then this whole movement which we got is just going to get corrected. It's the same like you can check it, for example, for Cardano, Solana, and XRP. When Trump said that he's going to do a crypto treasury for the US government, Cardano, I think, pumped up 70% on that day. It was very bullish because the people thought, okay, the government is now buying altcoins, especially, and Trump called it out, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. They pumped up. Then the crypto treasury came, but it was just based on criminals. Like if a criminal gets caught, his cryptos, if he has cryptos, his cryptos can be gone from him, and they would just go into the treasury. I think it was like this. And the market thought, oh, that's not good. Because we thought the US government is going to pump up their tax money into cryptos, but now they aren't. They're just going to find some criminals who has cryptos. Not bullish. Not what the market expected. And we got a one-to-one correction. We had a similar push like this, and once the rumors came out about the Bitcoin treasury, the news came out, but when it really happened, we made this. One-to-one, the same. So basically, we have to see. What about HBAR? So for HBAR, and this was my profitable trade, it was the most profitable trade for me. Solana was the second one. So let me take out the Fibonacci's first so we can see a bit more. We have said about HBAR, once the green trend line breaks to the upside, here was the retest long. I took my long position down here already. I took it there. Why? Because we were on good support and we have seen so many bullish divergences. The overall market was very bullish, so basically I just tried here my long position, and at first it was good. When I saw here, and for that we have to go into the 50 minutes chart, I have also said it in the Bitcoin update, I'm more careful if it comes to my first trade. So my first trade is always, if I see a breakout, then I want to see a retest, a clear one. Then I can jump into a trade. But if I'm already in a trade which is in profits, then I can be a bit more speculative and a bit more risky. So when I saw here the 50 minutes candle over it, and I saw here the 50 minutes candle touching the green trend line, I already went into a long position because I already took mine here and my average price was here. Afterwards, I was also in good profits for HBAR. I was thinking small pullback, breakout. Didn't happen. It just didn't happen. So what did I do? This right here didn't happen. Take out from the chart. We got a bigger correction. And what I have done here is, not this one right here. I took the Fibonacci levels and I was looking for some entry where I can increase my position size even more. I decided to take this one right here. What I have done afterwards is stop loss down here. Not exactly there, but somewhere here in that area. That stop loss didn't got hit. So basically in that case, with this sell-off which we got afterwards, a bit lower than the 23 cents, I was actually a bit lucky that I didn't use the 23.1 cents as a stop loss, because then I would be out before the push. I gave the trade a bit more space, because we had here a trend line coming from the upside, this falling wedge in bright blue, this one here, and I've orientated myself on that trend line, so this trend line went a bit more lower, so I took my short position like this, my stop loss order. So we got our push, and I think the push is not done yet. The target of that falling wedge is going to be the 26.8 cents. I will give you here the price mark. We are currently in a resistance zone. You can see it how often we got rejected and how often we got support. Here we got rejected. Here we got support. Support. We fell lower than this, retested it, got rejected, dropped more. Here, support. Here, resistance, resistance, and resistance. Every time we got there, we got a price movement. If we came from the upside, we got a price movement back to the upside, support. Every time we came from the downside, we got rejected and got a price movement to the downside. So I would be a bit careful for HBAR right now. We are in that purple box. It doesn't have to mean that we are not going to break it to the upside. The fair value gap, which we have down here, it is far away, and we don't see it for the other coins. The other coins, the fair value gap is somewhere here. So there is the chance higher that we are actually going to sell off into that fair value gap. For HBAR, it would just mean, in my opinion, very high chance that we are just going to form some kind of bull flag, which we then break to the upside, and then 26.7 cents, and I would even have here another long opportunity for HBAR. Maximum target, in my opinion, 27.6 cents. There is a resistance which we have to break to get, in my opinion, into the 32 cents to 34 cents for HBAR. If we now look over Dogecoin, then it was here a bit more tricky. Let me take the Fibonacci's out. We have said here is a purple box. Okay, we have to break it to the upside. But we wanted to see getting rejected, selling off into the 21.8 cents, and then the push into the 23 cents. This didn't happen. We didn't get a nice retest. What we got afterwards was we broke to the downside, and then the Fibonacci's came in play. I put here the Fibonacci's. I had here my green trend line on the chart, 21.4 cents. This was exactly the Fibonacci 0.618, and I'm always looking for the Fibonacci area, this one right here. Doesn't mean that I have to wait for the lower part of it. I'm usually taking my first trade here, and most likely also split it, like here 50% and the other 50% down here. And if I see the market's going to turn, then I put in the other 50%, which I haven't got because we didn't went here. In the end of the day, yes, we still sold off, but we still had our falling wedge ongoing. And the good part right now is we had so many bearish chart patterns which directed us into 18.8 cents. But we have also said that we might turn on a bullish way before we even see the 18.8 cents. And here the green trend line came in play. 21.46, there was the chance that we are going to turn before we meet the 18.8 cents. Second, 21.88 cents, it was kind of clear that we shouldn't sell off anymore, that we should see a bullish reversal earlier. I can take all those bearish chart patterns out of the chart now. All those targets are gone. What now? We are also here in a resistance area. You can see it, how often we bounced there and how often we got rejected there and got support. Similar to HBAR. So basically, I can still imagine that we are going to consolidate. We also have a weekend starting from tomorrow. So maybe this is just going to be a consolidation where we get the overheated RSI, a small cooldown. And then we have more space to the upside again. So this is my current game plan. I'm out of all my long trades a bit earlier. Why? Because I wanted to take profits. I didn't feel safe in my trades because of that fair value gap, which actually scared me off. But yes, afterwards we can always say, yeah, okay, selling here wasn't the best option. Why that? Because we still made another 5% to the upside, and that's for many coins. So with that said, we see each other in the render, Tau, Kaspa and ONDO update.